Alright, in this video, I will be explaining why I have my shirt off all the time. For one reason, it's just hot. You know, when it's hot, the shirt to me is very uncomfortable. In Chicago right now, it's like 85 degrees, 90 degrees, and the air conditioning in here is not that efficient, so it's a big space, and when I turn on the air, it takes a lot to fill up the whole space with cool air, and it's very expensive. It might cost like over $200 a month if you just keep the air on all the time. So for one, it's really hot, and I don't like the restrictiveness of a shirt when it's so hot. You know, to me, it's not a functional purpose to it. It just gets really sticky, and then it starts smelling and things like that, and you constantly got to switch out shirts and all that. Another reason why I don't like it, another reason I don't like to wear a shirt, especially outdoors too, is I don't like tan lines. Like I don't like just dark arms and then my whole chest and back is all like white. So I don't like tan lines. But those are like the main reasons, just the uncomfortness of it. If it's cold outside, I definitely wear shirts and sweaters and jackets and all that. And when it's wintertime in here in the training, it's cold in here, you know, because just as hard as it is to cool this place, is just as hard to heat this place up. So a lot of times people are like training in their hoodies and sometimes even wearing jackets and stuff like that, and the heat bill is a lot of money when you turn up the heat a lot. It's just hundreds of dollars a month, and we're only in here like a few hours a day. So if I'm only training in here like 2, 3, 4 hours a day, it doesn't make sense to keep the heat and the air on blasting for 24 hours and then just keep driving up the costs, you know. So when you see me in videos in the wintertime, you'll see that I have a shirt on because it's cold. So it's just kind of just deciding how I feel at that moment, how my body feels, and then just responding to that moment. I'm thankful that it's not unlawful for a man to have his shirt off, like it's unlawful for a woman to have her shirt off. Like a woman can't take off her shirt out there in the streets, in public, and she can't even take off her shirt and make a video with her without being negatively judged, which is a sad thing, you know. With Janet Jackson in the Super Bowl, you know, she accidentally exposed herself and then she just got a lot of heat for that. It's unfortunate that it's against the law for a woman to have her shirt off, and it is, you know, unequal treatment, you know, like men get to have their shirt off but women don't. And to me, you know, the body is a beautiful thing, and you know, it's what we're born in, and we weren't born with shirts on, we weren't born with clothes, and the body is very beautiful, and we shouldn't be ashamed of it. That's how I feel. But like I said, I can't control the law. The law said, hey, men could have their shirts off, so I take advantage of that. You know, I appreciate that, you know, and I feel comfortable with the way I look without a shirt. But even if I didn't, I think I would still prefer to have my shirt off, because it's a reminder, you know, of what I need to work on, what I need to do. You know, if I'm looking at myself in the mirror and there's something that I don't like, then it motivates me to work hard to change that. You know, so for example, if I'm looking at my body and like, you know what, I don't like, you know, how my abs are looking, I want to be more cut, I want to be more defined, then it will motivate me to train towards that. But if there are no mirrors and I always have my shirt on, then you forget, you know, you forget like some things that are important for your development, you know, and it's just a good reminder, you know, and it's like kind of having a Band-Aid on and then you never take it off to expose, you know, whether or not there's a scar or a wound or a cut that you need to fix, you know. So it's like if we don't cover our faces, you know, if I went around, if I made videos, if I went on the streets and I went, you know, in the store and I'm covering my face all the time, people would think there's something wrong with me. Like, they might think that I'm trying to rob the place or something, especially if I'm walking in the bank and I got my face covered, they'll think that I'm trying to rob the bank. If I'm walking in the streets with my face covered, people think that I'm trying to rob them. They don't know what's going on. They're like, why is this person covering their face? And to me, it's the same thing with the body. It's like, why do we feel a need to cover up, you know, our bodies, you know, as far as our shirts are concerned, you know. Not talking about like the pants and all that, but it's just something where I appreciate the freedom that we do have to be able to do that, and then I just take advantage of it. As far as the narcissism involved with it, especially at my age right now, and the way that I feel, I don't feel that it's a narcissistic characteristic for me, because honestly, I don't think that I look, you know, that I don't think that I'm as good shape as I can be, you know. So meaning, like, I'm not like completely satisfied with the way I look without my shirt either, you know. It's not like I'm not doing it to show off or anything like that. If people think that, you know, it's not that. It's just, I honestly don't feel that there is anything to show off. You know, it's just how my body looks. You know, I train every single day, but I feel that there's always people that are more fit, always people that are more cut, more defined, and, you know, sometimes I wish that, you know, certain parts of my body, especially my abs, would be like more defined, but it's just so hard to get it to look a certain way, as far as like needing to train like cardio like very intensely and just spend an excessive amount of time in strength training. And, you know, some people even manipulate it by dehydrating their bodies to make it look a certain way, and just being so overly focused on the way that part of your body looks. To me, it's unhealthy, and it's not something that I want to do for myself, but at the same time, I really do appreciate people that are able to train their bodies to have like really defined abs, you know. But it's a tough thing, you know, and you're always judged by it. So when I have my shirt off, people might look at my abs and be like, hey, you know, where's your abs at? Or you're kind of like, you know, you gotta kind of, your stomach's not all that great, and, you know, there's a lot of judgment involved, and I don't like that judgment, but that's not gonna like prevent me from taking off my shirt when I feel like it, because it's not about that, you know. It's just about me being comfortable with myself and not being ashamed of how I look or who I am. You know, other things are, you know, there's a lot of judgments. Like sometimes I would be in the facility and then somebody would be walking outside without their shirt on, and then they would be out of shape, and then some people in the facility would be like, hey, you know, that person should put his shirt on, that's disgusting. And, you know, you hear those judgments, you know, and it's sad that there are those judgments, but it's the reality, you know. If it's almost like you lose either way. If you're not in shape, people will judge you by that and tell you to put your shirt on because you're not in shape. If you are in shape, then people will judge you and say, hey, you know, you're trying to show off and you're narcissistic. So it's kind of like either way, it's like you can't win. And for women, they're not allowed to take off their shirts, but they, you know, they wear some women can wear very revealing clothes, and then they are judged the same way. Like, you know, say a woman has just like a sports bra on and then her whole stomach is exposed, and say she's not out of or say she is out of shape, then other women will look at her and be like, that's gross, or, you know, that woman needs to wear something else. And if she is in shape, then other women could be like, well, she's, you know, they could start getting jealous and start saying that she's arrogant or conceited, or, you know, she thinks so much of herself. I mean, it's just so much stuff going on with that, that it's sad that there's all these judgments going on out there, and it's sad that we have to, you know, limit ourselves, or not have to, but it's sad that when we allow others to limit us in our expression, especially if we're not doing anything that's against the law. You know, if the law said that men can't have their shirts on or shirts off, then you just have to follow the law. I mean, I don't want to go outside and get written up for a $50 ticket every time I have my shirt off. You know, just like with my car, if I don't have a front license plate in Chicago, they write you a fine. You know, they make you pay like $85 or something like that. I don't want to, so I even though the car looks better without the front license plate, I still put the front license plate on there because I don't want to get fined. So, you know, luckily there is none of those regulations, you know, and, you know, I think when you train a lot and you do a lot of fitness training, it's just natural to just be more comfortable with yourself and who you are and just not be ashamed. And another thing is, you know, when you go to the beach, pretty much mostly everybody has their shirt off. You know, when you take a shower, it's not going to be comfortable taking a shower with your shirt on, or when you take a bath. When you go to sleep, I don't know how people go to sleep, but I don't like, it doesn't feel comfortable going to sleep with your shirt on. You know, just like shoes and socks. Like, I wear shoes all the time, I wear socks all the time, but when I go home and my home is clean, I take off my shoes, I take off my socks. It wouldn't be comfortable to have my shoes on while I'm in the home. You know, and it just, depending on the situation, would dictate like how you respond to that. One more thing that I want to bring up too is that there's also a negative connotation or judgment coming from people when you take your shirt off, because people might view you as like unprofessional, or they view you as unintelligent, or, you know, somebody who, you know, just isn't like high class. So there are like some negative judgments based on that. You know, when you know, say you're going on a job interview and then somebody goes in with a suit on, and then you go in with your shirt off. I mean, you won't even have to say one word. They'll just kick you out of the interview. Be like, what is wrong with you? Like, get out of here. Like, this is a professional job interview. You know, you're trying to get an accounting position or something. They'll kick you out the door right away. They won't even conduct an interview with you because you have your shirt off. You know, a lot of these stores have their policies. You can't go to Jewel and Osco and have your shirt off. You know, they won't even provide you service. You know, you can't even go to the gym and take your shirt off. You know, they have those rules and regulations, and they have to be followed. Otherwise, they don't even give you a chance. You know, like, and that's how this world is. You know, they judge people a lot. You know, if I didn't take my shirt off, then people would judge me by what I'm wearing. You know, they could be like, oh, you know, this person wears his shirt so tight, you know, so he could show off his muscles, like he thinks he's all like big and bad or whatever. You know, and then if I wear a baggy shirt, then they'd be like, oh, you know, it looks like the shirt's a little bit too big for you. You need to fill that up. You gotta work out a little bit harder. I mean, people tell me those things sometimes, where it's like, you know, like, you need to hit the gym. You know, like you're too skinny. You know, and they put you down in so many different ways, and it's sad. You know, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people don't like to work out at the gym, is because of these types of judgments, and these judgments can't really be stopped. I mean, the gym owner provides membership for everybody that wants membership. They can't really deny membership to certain people. So that's why there's gyms created like Planet Fitness. You know, it's supposed to be like called like a judgment-free zone. So then people that aren't like as fit feel more comfortable going into a gym where they're not being negatively judged by everybody around them. But it goes both ways. I mean, you go into like an export fitness, then you know the people that aren't as fit might feel judged by those people. And then if somebody goes to Planet Fitness and he is fit, then he gets judged over there. You know, they got this thing called like a lunk alarm over there, where if you scream too much or you drop the weights, they hit this alarm and then they kick you out of the facility. You know, it's like, you know, and then think they might have like certain dress codes. You can't wear certain things over there because it's against their policy. So, you know, the judgment goes both ways. You know, even somebody who's fit, you know, then the people that are really good with their studies, that have PhDs and all these degrees and certificates and licenses, then they judge the athlete to say that this person is dumb. They don't know anything. All they do is play football and basketball, and all they do is play sports, and they never read, and they can't write intelligently, they can't speak intelligently, and they don't know anything. They're dumb. Like, they judge. Basically, people that are intellectual may judge the people that are fit as being not good enough, like they're stupid, they're unintelligent. You know, and then people that are fit may judge the people that are intelligent as like weak, and people that are not in shape. I mean, it's just judgments going around everywhere. You know, and it's just a sad reality of what we have to deal with. But you know, it's the same. You know, the same thing of like the reason why like wearing suits, like it's just so uncomfortable for me, having that tie, and then, you know, you got the button-down shirt, and you got the jacket on, and you got the dress pants on, and you got the dress shoes on. I mean, it looks nice and all that, but it's just like the mobility. You can't really you're so restricted in movement, and then it encloses you in. Everything gets so hot, you know, and there's a certain time and place for that, but you know, everybody's different in what they like to, how they like to dress and things like that. You know, but as far as this point in my life, this is how I view it. Things might change in the future. Like, I don't know. But Bruce Lee was one of the martial artists who, you know, had his shirt off all the time. But then there's more traditional martial artists like Jet Li. Like, you watch a movie with him, you'll never see him without his shirt. Like, he always has his shirt on. You know, and his state of mind is very different than Bruce Lee. And even Jackie Chan, you don't ever really see him with his shirt off much either in his movies. So everybody has their opinions on this topic. And, you know, I'm not going to say it's a right or wrong thing, but there is clearly, you know, a situation where people use that as, you know, a narcissistic expression, where their intention is to just show off like their body and to arouse, you know, certain people a certain way, or to maybe encourage a certain sense of jealousy from the people around them, or, you know, it's just it's a kind of self-absorbed type of, like, you know, narcissistic behavior, you know, just kind of always looking at themselves in the mirror at all times, and kind of like falling in love with themselves. You know, that's what narcissism is. You know, constantly looking in the mirror and just loving yourself so much, you know, to the point of where you fall in love with yourself. And there are like unhealthy attributes, you know, to some of these people who take off their shirts, and it's just unfortunate that I might get judged with these group of people. But at the same time, like, there are people out there as well who have other reasons of why they choose to take off their shirt during a certain, situation. Like right now, like I'm not exercising, I'm not moving, I'm just speaking, so I feel comfortable with my shirt, I'm fine. And plus it serves a purpose because I'm making this video and I'm promoting my school while I'm making the video. And the nice thing about shirts is you could have designs on there and then you could change out the shirts and have different designs. Like you're not just stuck to one thing. So that's why, I think it's good that I didn't get any tattoos on the front side of my body, because, a lot of times you change your ideas and what you want to have on, and with a tattoo you can't change anything, it just is what it is. So having the shirt on during this specific moment is a huge benefit. I'm not training, I'm not sweating, I don't need to take my shirt off, but pretty soon I will be training and my shirt will come off. I'll turn on the fan and make sure that I can minimize the sweat, and by taking the shirt off, then I don't sweat on the shirt, and then I don't need to wash it every single time I train, because it's something that I did not have, that I didn't even sweat in. So there's a practical aspect to it as well. But I think when it comes to people like Bruce Lee who broke away from tradition, because a lot of especially karate schools, they'll be wearing these gis and stuff with these belts, and they're not allowed to take off their shirt. They always have that gi on. It's kind of like being a police officer, where you always need to be in uniform. Like you can't go to work as a police officer with your shirt off. You need to have your uniform on. So that's kind of how some of these karate schools are. It's like you need to have your gi on. If you don't, then they'll kick you out of the class. But Bruce Lee was not a practitioner of karate. He was a practitioner of kung fu, and he had his own unique expression, and he's well known for that yellow tracksuit that he wore, that one-piece onesie in Game of Death. Like everybody knows him by wearing that. It's very tight-fitting, just a onesie type thing, where it's just so molded to his body. He's known for that. He's known to be taking his shirt off almost in every single movie. Enter the Dragon, he had his shirt off a lot in that movie. Fist of Fury, Chinese Connection. I mean, pretty much all the movies, he's known for having his shirt off, and then he's also known to have that white wife beater where he wears it, and then it just kind of accentuates his muscles. So sometimes wearing certain clothes can accentuate your muscles more than if you don't have a shirt on. Because if you wear a wife beater, for example, then it kind of accentuates your arms, and your forearms, and people aren't so focused on the abs because it's covered. So then they're looking at your chest, they're looking at your back, they're looking at your arms. So a lot of times, certain articles of clothing can enhance other areas of your body. Having your shirt off all the time is not necessarily the best thing. So he's known for the wife beater, he's known for that yellow tracksuit, he's known to have his shirt off, he's known for the nunchucks. I mean, these are things that he's known for. So he was a pioneer into expressing himself, being himself, and just breaking away from the tradition of the martial arts. Like he'd say, I don't need a belt. The only time I need a belt is to hold my pants up. But other than that, he doesn't need a belt. He doesn't need a gi. He doesn't need a uniform. He doesn't need a shirt. He could be free to express himself, and I give a lot of credit for him. And he's a big inspiration to me. So, if people try to negatively say, oh, you're not a real martial artist because you have your shirt off, then I could always think about Bruce Lee and be like, you know what, I look up to him and what he was representing, and to me, he was a real martial artist. So those people's comments don't affect me in a negative way, because I know that I have his support, because I'm basically kind of following his footsteps in a way, and And that's kind of what I want to do, you know, like even with my uniform in this school, this is literally like a basketball tank top jersey. It's very breathable, and when I do wear shirts, I make sure that I wear short shirts that are like athletic shirts that are designed for working out. So like I do like the brand Under Armour a lot because of the material that they use. It wicks away sweat very effectively. It is very stylish, and it kind of molds to your body. A lot of their shirts are very like compression oriented, where it kind of molds to your body and kind of accentuates, you know, your muscles and things like that, and it keeps you warm, and then it also wicks away sweat. So I like those types of athletic shirts, you know, like this is 100% polyester. It wicks away the sweat very effectively. You know, it's designed for working out. You know, it just wouldn't make sense to be working out in like a business t-shirt, or not a t-shirt, a business like dress shirt, button-up dress shirt, where there's like a big, you know, slab of sweat on your back, and then you know, the article of clothing starts sticking to your skin. It just feels extremely uncomfortable, you know, and it's different things are designed for different situations. You know, go to a job interview, then you have to wear a suit and tie. Go to the beach, take your shirt off. You're working out, well, I think that's a great time to have your shirt off, you know, depending which environment you're in. You know, it's winter time, you gotta wear that winter jacket. But it's like, you know, it's hot out. Like, it wouldn't make sense for somebody to wear a winter jacket out there in the streets, or wear a winter jacket to the store. You know, people look at the person like he's crazy. Like, what are you doing? It's like 90, 100 degrees out and you're wearing a winter jacket. Well, that's kind of how I feel when you're working out. You're sweating like crazy. Like, this shirt is restricting you. You know, so you might as well just take it off. You know, but other situations, it's like, it might not be practical, because if you sweat a lot and you don't own the facility, then it might not be like a courteous thing to do to take your shirt off when you sweat so much, and then there's like sweat like all over the floor, and people are slipping and sliding all over your sweat, because the shirt does help contain that sweat, you know. And it just depends on the situation and where you are and how you respond to it, you know. And there's something where a lot of my students go to. It's called hot yoga, where they do like yoga practices in, like, I think like over 90 degrees. The room is like super hot. I'd never done it before, but from what they told me, that you take your shirt off in there, and you have a towel, and then you're sweating on the towel, because it's so hot in that room. Like, majority of everybody has their shirts off. You know, and that's what happens when it gets hot. Clothes become less necessary. So that's why there's a difference when you know, when it's hot, people wear shorts. Why? Because wearing pants is just gonna create too much unnecessary heat on the legs. So that's why you would wear shorts. You know, so we have different articles of clothing for different weather situations, and it's all about like how you feel, how comfortable you are. Sometimes it might be about style, but for me, like, I just don't think that it's healthy to constantly be worried about what other people think about you. It's just not healthy for you, mentally or spiritually. Now, if I'm being judged and assessed, and I'm following the regulations of a certain company, then I have to follow it. If I go to work at Best Buy, I can't go to work without a shirt on. You know, I go work at Target or Walmart, I can't go to work without a shirt on. I can't even go to work wearing an FMK shirt. I gotta wear the Target shirt if I go to Target. I gotta wear the Walmart shirt if I go to Walmart. I gotta go wear the Best Buy shirt if I go to Best Buy. If I become a police officer, I gotta wear their uniform. I can't wear my own uniform. So everywhere you go, there's regulations, you know. So I go to the store, I gotta put my shirt on. I can't even walk into the store without my shirt on, you know. But this is my facility, and it's up to me whether or not I choose to take my shirt off. I don't prevent my students from taking their shirts off as well. They're more than welcome to do the same, and a lot of them do, you know, and this is the type of training atmosphere that we have. But if you go to a regular, you know, you go to another gym that's corporate, they're not going to allow those types of things, you know. They're governed by the corporation, and they have a lot of policies and procedures that they got to follow. But once again, I stated what the hot yoga place, even though I've never been there myself, they allow the people to take off the shirts in the hot yoga, you know. So it's basically up to the business owner how they want to conduct their business. But there's nothing unlawful happening. Men are allowed to take their shirt off in their own home. They're allowed to take off their shirt out there in the streets, in public. And then it's up to the business owners whether or not, you know, what they want out of the customers. You know, business owners, you know, so a lot of them say you can't come in without shoes. You know, you can't come in with a dog. You know, but then other business owners would be like, hey, you know, you can go ahead and bring the dog in, it's no problem. You know, so business owners make those types of decisions. You know, and you know, that's my my feedback on, you know, why I take my shirt off. You know, and you know, especially at this point in my life, it's not coming from a narcissistic and arrogant standpoint. You know, I'm getting older. You know, my body, it doesn't, you know, I'm not as strong as I used to be, you know, in my 20s. And my body is not like as defined as it used to be, you know. And sometimes I feel a little bad that, hey, you know, like I gotta work harder, you know. And when I have my shirt off, I'm not even thinking about like, oh, you know, I'm trying to show off. It's more so thinking like, hey, you know, like I want to be in better shape, you know. And it's just a reminder, you know, when I see myself in the mirror, I'm like, hey, you know, I want to work harder, you know. Just like stepping in the scale, and if all of a sudden you weigh like 10 more pounds than you normally weigh, you're like, dang, you're like, I didn't know I weighed this much. I gotta stop eating so much, or I gotta start eating healthier. And it's the same type of thing. You know, a lot of fitness training is not just about the scale and looking at the scale and how much you weigh, but it's also about measuring your body fat percentage, measuring your muscle ratio, your bone density, your water ratio. And then it's also sometimes about measuring like how big you're getting. It's also about looking at yourself, taking pictures of yourself to see like how you look without your clothes on. And then it's also about like how the clothes fit you. You know, so it's a total body transformation as you're exercising. So that's my feedback on it. And I honestly feel that, you know, even when I get older and older, like it's not really gonna change much. I'm probably gonna be doing the same thing that I'm doing now. But that's just me. But my father, for example, he's in great shape, but he never takes off his shirt during training. He always has his shirt on, you know. But that's him. You know, for me, I don't like having my shirt on all the time. But for the videos, it actually is a benefit to have it on to promote the business, so then people remember that this is Freddie's Modern Kung Fu. You know, so. But that's that. And once again, if you support the school, please visit our Google page, our Google business page. Just type in Freddie's Modern Kung Fu on Google, and then click on review, and then please give us a nice review. And it's very motivational, you know, to have support, you know, because unfortunately there are people that try to damage the reputation in the school, even though that they've never even trained here with me. and it's very discouraging, you know, and I just need the support of the people out there. As far as the people out there that don't like what I have to share, you know, I'm sorry that you don't like it, but I just recommend for you to find a channel which you do like and just support that channel. You know, it just doesn't do any good for people to spread their negative energy within this channel. I don't want problems with anybody out there. I just want to be honest and self-expressive. Alright, so if you have not subscribed and you like the videos, just go ahead and subscribe. And you know, other than that, I just want to thank everybody out there for all your support. Take care.